Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the major franchises that are out there, and not including the one that I normally talk about. But today we're going to talk about Star Wars, Marvel, and of course Disney, Pixar themselves. So why am I grouping these seemingly random franchises, one not relating to the other? I mean, we're going from princesses to a little bit of everything, to superheroes and space. The reason I'm looping all of these in together is because I will be doing a future series related to these franchises, which I'm going to be annoying and kind of not tell you what I'm doing because it's going to take a while. But just know that I kind of want to give you a grounding base of why I love these series, when these series came into my life, and just a little bit about me, about me and my relation to these franchises. I'm kind of trying to introduce some new favorites to the channel because I feel like we just talk about books and used to talk a lot about Harry Potter. It's time to change it up here. And like I said I was going to be making some different content. It's about time that I start on that different content. So with that being said, let's just get into the first franchise, which is Disney. The big owner of them all. Literally, Disney owns all of the Disney owns all the franchises that I'm going to be talking about in today's video, so we might as well start with that one. Let's first talk about why Disney. When did Disney come to my life? Well, Disney came to my life since I was pretty little. My opposite side of the family, on my dad's side, is huge Disney fans, and that's kind of where it started. But my mom herself is also, or at least was, a Disney fan, and she likes the classic Disney, which I don't blame her. So that's kind of where it all started. First off, one of my nicknames when I was little came from Bambi, which is one of my favorite movies of all time that I would love to revisit. And watch soon. There's your only hint. So, that's kind of where it started. I also was super eventually would get into watching all of the Disney classics. So I have seen Snow White, Bambi, Little Mermaid, Hercules, which is one of the most underrated films of all time, if you ask me. Lost City of Atlantis, just like all over the place. One of my favorite actors of all times comes from watching so many Disney movies, and that is Robert Williams. Yes. Who would my favorite Disney characters be? Well, I would tell you one of my favorite sidekicks would definitely be Mushu, because I just love Mushu and his sassiness. I love Pascal. Hi, Cabbage. I love Pascal so much. Just so many. I also love, is he called Teacup? And Belle? I'm not a huge Belle fan, but I love Teacup. As far as my Disney princess, would definitely be Mulan. I love Mulan very much. And Tiana. Tiana is also one of my other favorites. Just because I looked up to Tiana a lot when it first came out. I would like to say when I was little, but it came out in 2000. Yeah, it would have still been when I was little. It would have been in 2009, and I would have been like 7. Growing up with Disney in the early 2000s means that I was also largely into Lizzie McGuire, High School Musical, Camp Rock, Lemonade Mouth, Geek Charming, all of that kind of stuff, which still hold a very special place in my heart. Like I said, I did grow up with a lot of Disney in my life, so that means, anyways, growing up with Disney also means that I loved watching Disney TV shows, and of course I did. I watched a lot of Disney Channel when I was little. One of my favorite shows being Sonny with a Chance and Wizards of Waverly Place. I was even into Hannah Montana at that point. Favorite animated Disney cartoon that I can think of off the top of my head would be classic DuckTales. So just to give you some images of in and around which era I was raised around a lot. It was early 2000s Disney, and then 80s movies on top of that. And at some point in came Marvel. I can't really tell you when Marvel came in. Marvel just kind of showed up at the front door randomly one day in around 2008 when the first Iron Man came out. And at some point I did see Spider-Man. So I have watched all the Iron Mans and all the Spider-Mans because I have been an Iron Man and Spider-Man fan since I was very, very little. I think I was 5. Yeah. Also, I didn't have, on a side note real quick, I did not plan on my cousin's cat being a feature in this video. She's being needy, so here we are. Anyway, so yeah, that's when, kind of when Marvel came in, was Iron Man started coming out. My mom wanted to see the movies. I think my mom and her brother wanted to see the movies. I think. And at some point I ended up watching them, and that's kind of just where everything started, was right then and there. Was kind of right there when everything really took off. I was there. I was very little, but I was there when the original movies came out. I will say that Spider-Man, is it 2 or 3? I'm still not here for that dance outside the bank. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Because, yikes. From there, Pixar also has kind of been in my life since I was little. Toy Story came out in 1992? No, I think we talked about this last night. When did Toy Story come out? 1996. 1996. And I also, so I'm born in 02. I'm gonna see it pretty early on. But one of my first Pixar movies that I remember watching was actually Cars, which I remember not really coming out, but honestly it being my first Pixar film, because my littlest sister was born in 2005, and that was her favorite movie. I also remember Finding Nemo being one of the first Pixar films that I watched. If I could tell you in my mind the first handful of Pixar movies I watched, it would have to be Cars, Ratatouille, Finding Nemo, and WALL-E. I don't know how I remember my first 4 Pixar films that I watched, but I think it's because they're in such a good place in my mind. If I had to say which Pixar film up to date now is my favorite, I would struggle because I love Pixar. But if I had to choose, WALL-E would definitely still be probably number 1, followed closely behind Toy Story 2? Cars will always hold a nostalgic place in my heart. Ratatouille, of course. And I really enjoyed watching Soul. So yeah, and out of all the Pixar movies, I think there's only, well, I haven't seen Luca, that just came. The Wizard Brothers movie that just came out a couple of years, last year? Year before. One of the two. I have a lot of movies to get through. Hit number 2. A lot of movies, and I'm making this video. Anyways, and finally, when did Star Wars... Oh, I talked about my favorite Pixar films, but I never told you what my favorite Marvel/Disney films were, so let's back it up a little bit. Favorite Disney films. Brother Bear, Lion King, Hercules, Atlantis, Aristocats, Lady and the Tramp. Anyways, Marvel films. Iron Man and Spider-Man, of course. Captain Marvel and Black Panther. But yeah, let's talk about Star Wars real quick. Let's throw that one in here. As you can tell from everything that I've told you, Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar kind of have always been there. Except the problem is that I still haven't watched most Marvel movies because I've been kind of doing a binge watch. But binge watch is technically where you sit down and watch them all at once or in relative close proximity to each other. And I stopped my binge watch back in January. So as far as Star Wars, it is my most recent addition to the collection. Yeah. We watched the original trilogy, the prequels, and then the sequels. So that's how I watched them. And I feel like I'm an unpopular crowd when I say I enjoy the sequels. I love all three trilogies. But I started watching the first movie I watched, which was 4, at the end of 2019. And we kind of watched them throughout January to kind of March of last year, right before COVID hit and the beginning of COVID. And then I didn't watch Star Wars 9 until I moved home in February of 2021. So it's been a long drag through of me watching Star Wars movies, which is why I'm hoping at some point to watch them all in order so I understand what's happening and get a good grasp. Because I told my cousin Cooper that I had watched them, and then he was making all these references, and I'm like, damn, I don't understand anything that's going on. Like, if you explain the scene to me that you're referencing, I get it. But as far as being able to throw another reference back at you, the best is that all I got is Jar Jar's How Woo. And that's about it. So I haven't seen Bad Batch or The Mandalorian, which I do plan on catching up on after I rewatch Star Wars. So that is kind of just a brief rundown of my history with Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars. Yeah. So if I could give you my favorite Star Wars characters off the top of my head, I would say Obi-Wan Kenobi and Princess Leia. No, that's not true. I say those are my favorite humans, and then I really love 3CPO a lot. I love his character and how goofy he is. And oh my goodness, Jar Jar can get so very annoying, but I also love Jar Jar because he's very cute. Okay, so if I had to tell you which Star Wars film is my favorite, I'd have to go with Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. But like I said, that is based simply on a very poor memory of what happens in the movie and really loving the character arc of Luke going bad and kind of trying to avoid the dark side and then end up ultimately going to the dark side was one of my favorite plot lines. But again, it's all based on a very bad memory. And yeah, this is just, like I said, a very brief summary of my history with all of these franchises. And also lots and lots of rewatching happening. I'm kind of trying to figure out if I'm daring to go back to the early 2000s, to go back to me being little in my memories and rewatching High School Musical Camp Rock. But I don't know if I want to, because I know that when my cousin Layla rewatched High School Musical, I avoided it like the plague. She was trying to get me to sit down and watch them with her, and that just was absolutely not happening. Nothing against my cousin, no. I have so many cringy memories in my brain from those days, which we might just end up talking about in future videos. But that is all from me today. I hope you all enjoyed this video and maybe learned something about me and learned something new. And with that being said, I'll see you on the next one very soon. Bye.